Hello, everyone. I have with me the illustrious Jovanna Vidal. You guys may recognize her from the amazing movie God and Salsa, as well as her performance on Darman.
I'm sorry, I just did not have time to bake anything on such short notice. I mean, it's just me by myself, and it's
You know what? Just because you don't have a husband doesn't mean our kids should suffer. They deserve homemade cookies.
Hello? Oh, hi. Mr. Mann. Sie geben eine Großbestellung auf? $1,000? Wirklich? Ich habe leider das Geld nicht um. Sie bezahlen im Voraus? Natürlich, ja. Ich danke Ihnen so sehr. Ja, bye. Oh mein Gott. Oh mein Gott. Ja, Liebling.
Here, put this on. You can help me clean.
What? No. It's Saturday. I don't want to work.
Well, I could really use the help.
Why do I have to work? Everybody gets to hang out with their friends on the weekends, but I'm stuck with my mom. And you want me to clean too?
Well, honey, there are a lot of little girls that don't get to spend any time with their moms. So you should feel grateful, right? Tell you what, if you help me clean, I will get you ice cream after.
Ice cream? Why would I get ice cream with my mom? That's so lame. I'm not helping you clean.
Alejandra.
Welcome, Jovanna.
Hi, Katherine. How are you?
I'm good. You know, people have been asking me to interview you. And, we talked about it a little bit last week, and you're like, I don't have anything left to say. Do I? Maybe I do. I might. Okay. I'm like, you always have something to say, girl.
Yeah, we know that.
But it's good. It's good. When, I want to, be talking to the fans, who see this. So I'm going to ask you questions about your acting career and all that kind of jazz. And we'll see where that goes. But when did you start your acting career?
For reals, I started, I feel, when I moved here. And that was in 2009. And it took me a little bit to get off the ground to set up shop in LA. It was not easy for me. So I feel like I really hit the ground running in 2010. So what's that, 13 years-ish? Yeah.
So you had the acting bug in you and you were kind of pursuing it in Miami a little bit?
I was. I moved to Miami thinking I could act there. However, when you're not familiar with the industry, you make decisions based on what you know. And I lived in New York. I was corporate, and moving to Miami seemed like really like sexy and flashy, and the telenovelas are stem from there. And I thought maybe I could do some Spanish language, and I was like, oh, there's a lot of TV production in Miami. LA was too far for me at the time. I wanted to be closer to my family, so I was like, Miami, that's where I'll go. I love it. And I'm out of New York, and that's where I thought I could start. But once you're in a smaller market, like the secondary and tertiary markets, for this industry specifically, you come to find out that the opportunities aren't as bountiful. And what was there was a lot of dancing. So that's where I started dancing, was in Miami. And I would book a lot of shows to be a dancer. So like I did like Dexter and like whatever shows were back then there. I'm not even like remembering right now. But it was mostly as like a specialty act as a dancer. So I did that. I did a lot of music videos. I did a lot of like, I started dancing, and I'd never been a dancer before. So I just had fun with that. And then I realized like there weren't as many acting classes. There weren't as many resources at the time, especially. And so I really don't consider like I started until I got here, even though I dabbled in it. And I thought I was acting when I was there. I still thought I was in it. But then I moved to LA and I realized like, no, that wasn't really what I was doing.
Wow. Yeah, I started in Minneapolis because they had supposedly they were the third best commercial market. So they did a lot of commercials in Minneapolis, but I don't think I ever did a one. And I was trying to do the acting circuit for like 2 years in Minneapolis before I moved to LA. I did take a lot of acting classes there, and there was little opportunities here and there, but nothing that paid.
Yeah. I did get paid in Miami. I got paid really well in Miami. But again, there were dancing. Yeah, for dancing. Acting, I did book a couple commercials. Miami was big on commercials. And then also, what I was going to say was, it's interesting that you acted in Minneapolis and you never did a commercial in Minneapolis, but I did one.
Well, good for you.
Yeah, and it was freaking cold. It was like 20 below, and I was like, this is the coldest I've ever felt. And it was like in April.
Yeah. Yeah, we've had blizzards in like April and like September and places when it's really hot here.
There was like 10 inches of snow on the ground in April. I was like, what is going on? It was bonkers. It was really cold. And there was nobody on the roads like walking. I was the only person walking.
There's no traffic. There's really no traffic. Well, maybe in Minneapolis there is, but like in my small town, like try going left in Los Angeles. Just try going left.
No, thank you.
And same here, little Minnesota, that you could just go left any time of day. Even in rush hour, you may have to wait for one car to go by.
Oh, that's hysterical. No, here, if I have to go left, I'll like find a way to go right, then like so that I can go around, because going left on some intersections, you're like, no, thank you. I'll be here all day.
Yeah, no kidding. So you moved here, you started acting. And we were talking in the green room the other day about how you actually, it was easier and more lucrative to make money as a dancer than it has been as an actor. Do you want to touch on that, Paul, or anything?
Sure. Yeah, well, Miami is a big party town, right? And they always want little Latinas dancing everywhere. Like, I was a samba dancer. I wore like the big feathers, and there were always shows. There was always like weddings and bar mitzvahs and hotel openings and club openings. And I traveled a lot. So I would go to different resorts outside of Miami, and I would be hired as a dancer. So I got paid really well as a dancer, in hindsight especially. Like, I thought LA, there was going to be more money making opportunities. Even when I tried the dancing like circuit here in LA, it was not the same thing at all. I struggled with that. I mean, even as a dancer, and I had to, be careful, because I danced as a free style dancer. Like, I was a samba dancer. Like, I'm not a choreographed dancer. You could see the TikTok we tried to do. Everyone's going right, I'm going left. They're like, no, Jovanna, go this way. I can't follow the steps at all. Like, I can't even do like the Macarena. Like, I can't do anything where you have to follow steps. So I have to be careful when I say but I was really, I think a better term for me was like a party starter. Like, I always started the parties. Like, I would get everybody out on the dance floor. And that's what I was always hired for. So if they needed a dancer to do choreography, I never got called. But if they wanted to get a party started, I was like the main chick. Like, it was awesome.
So what made you transition into acting from dancing, or did you always want to be an actor?
I always wanted to be an actor. However, I knew I needed to study to become an actor. And as a dancer, I was just out there like wiggling real fast, and it worked for me, you know, like I just learned the samba steps and I was able to move really fast. So people were always like, you know, enjoyed watching me because I was really like energetic. I have a lot of, especially then, I had a lot of energy. So a lot. So I knew I always wanted to act. I used the dancing as my job. So I knew I wasn't going to pursue dancing as a career. Hello, I started dancing in my 20s. Like, no dancer starts in their 20s. Like, they start when they're like 3, 6, 10 years old, you know? So I used it as my rent money, you know, as paying my bills and my fun money. And, you know, I saved so that I can move to LA so I can truly pursue acting. So that was kind of my strategy at the time.
And since you've been in LA, what has been the favorite acting project you've worked on?
Acting project.
Or your favorite role you've played? Is that better? What's the favorite role you've played?
This is a tough one for me, and I'll tell you why. Because I've done films, I've done commercials here, I've done voiceovers, I've done corporate gigs, you know, like hosting, I've done, like, you know, there's all these different facets of, you know, on camera work that I love. And I've done a lot of cool things, thankfully. However, I think I said this to you, it's like what I've loved the most is using my platform to do more things, to expand on what I really always wanted to do. And I feel like the only thing that has done that for me has been being on Dhar Mann. So it's not just one project because we filmed so many videos. So it's hard for me to say like which project because I think as an overarching opportunity, Dhar Mann has checked so many boxes for me. And I have done films and I love being in God and Salsa. And I love, but that is like one project, one opportunity, one, you know, point of connection. Being a recurring-ish person on Dhar Mann has given me multiple opportunities.
It's not ish. It's not ish. Don't downplay it, girl. You are recurring. There's no ish about it.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's freaking amazing. It's been amazing. So when I say like one project, I guess as an umbrella, Dhar Mann, in its entirety. If I can say my favorite film specifically, like feature, God and Salsa, you know, like, so that's why I was torn on how to answer that question.
Yeah, no. Sometimes there's cool roles we play where we're like, that role was cool, but maybe the production was a little sketch, or maybe it didn't. Or there's this thing you're like, don't care about the project as much, but it pays better. And so there's all these like, that's, you know, there's like you said, boxes to check. Does it pay well? Are the people cool? Am I proud of this project? Would I show this to my family? You know,
is it going to be seen? Is it going to be seen? Is it going to be seen by other people?
Anyone can see it. How many masterful performances have you given in other projects that never saw the light of day?
None. Yeah, I mean, yes, but not seen. Yes, agreed. And that, and it's also, like you said, the role might have been cool, or the people may have been cool, but it didn't hit the finish line. It never. Forget being seen. It wasn't completed. It wasn't paid. You know, even if they told you you were gonna get paid, they didn't pay you. So you're like, yeah, that was fun, but I never got paid for that. So that like was messed up.
Down the paycheck, because I've had to do that a couple times, and
Mhm.
a couple I wasn't successful getting the paychecks even after I was chasing them down. That whole checks in the mail.
Oh, I guess it's
went
not
to the
just
wrong
me.
address.
Yeah,
Huh?
not just me, I guess.
Oh no, I think we've all. Some reason I think actors are. See, it's hard for those who are on the outside of the business to understand, because when they think of actors, they are actually thinking of movie stars. They
Mhm.
don't know what we actually have to go through and how scrappy we have to be to make things work, and how many plates we have spinning to get what we need to pursue this career. People don't know what I don't want to say real actor, but a actor who has not arrived to celebrity star status has to do to make things happen.
Oh my goodness. Everything you're saying, like I'm getting chills, and not because it's more like the reminders of what I've had to do, of what we all have to do, like chills of how far, I've come from that person coming to LA with the big starry, eyes. It's like I'm getting chills at how much we all have to do to keep the plates in the air. Like it's just an exhausting, relentless,
Yeah,
vicious sometimes process.
Eating, sleeping, and breathing acting roles. You're getting the alerts on your phone, sometimes hundreds of times a day. Oh, there's a role I need to submit for. Oh, am I right for this? There is no like stopping, because you think, well, if I turn my phone off for the day, what if my agent calls? I miss an opportunity. I miss an audition. They call somebody else that could have been my part. And that's probably, we've talked about FOMO before. That is kind of what it breeds in you, because you're always looking, even at like networking parties, who can I talk to? Who's the director? Who's the producer? Do I need to meet? Who needs to see me? Where can I get an opportunity? And that's, for me, one of the reasons, when you talk about Dhar Mann checking a box, it's consistent. You're not having to prove yourself over and over and over and over and over. They'll give you different roles. You're not having to like audition nonstop every time for every project. It's just like, they want me to work next week. I didn't have to go to 27 auditions and 4 callbacks to get that gig for next week.
And how many parking tickets?
Oh, well, there's that. For me, the worst place was Santa Monica. I think I got 3 parking tickets in Santa Monica. Going to meet with the manager, auditioning. Something about Santa Monica. That's where my tickets had come from.
And just getting there at the hours that they were always scheduled to call us in. It's like getting there, and I lived in the valley. I had to factor in probably 4 hours in the car, 2 each way.
Yeah.
If you're lucky, 30 to 40 seconds in the room.
Yep.
Sometimes an hour in the waiting room.
Yep.
So it's an all-day event.
And when you factor in your hair and makeup and learning the lines, that's about a day and a half preparation. Sometimes for a job that's ultra low budget's $125 a day.
Mm-hmm.
So a day and a half preparation.
Mm-hmm.
We're not even counting gas for the audition, gas for the callback, and then gas to go shoot. You've gone into the negative.
Oh yeah.
You have lost money pursuing acting.
Oh yeah. And what if you wanted to get coaching for a particular role?
$150 an hour for my acting coach. Well, he was getting $200 an hour in New York 20 some years ago, but I got discount rates. But yeah.
And then that's not factoring in all the submission sites, all the headshots, all the
106 casting frontier. Each of them have they're each like 150 a year. Some people spend hundreds, if not thousands of dollars on headshots, getting them touched up, a fee to upload each one, fees to edit your demo reels. The actor is like the person who's stepped on the most. And sometimes we see actors who are famous and they're made it, and sometimes they have a little attitude, and it's like, well, do you know what they went through? If you're a little sassy today, so
you're allowed.
We only knew what they'd gone through to get there. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. And we have these conversations not frequently enough because we really don't want to be reminded of all the things. And it's like, oh my gosh. And this is over, myself, 13 years here. You, what is it, 20 years in LA-ish?
23.
23. It's like over the span of our, tenure in this city, it's a really, really expensive pursuit. There's great gratification, little snippets along the way, and that's the carrot that's always dangled, in front of us. And
this could be the one. It could be the one. You're always like, and when you've got a lot of optimism, like you and I do, every project is like, this could be the one.
It's so fun. And you gotta think like that too, right? You can't be like, because where are you gonna go thinking like that? So it's like you get so excited, invested, and you're like, okay, if I don't book it, at least, the casting director saw me and maybe they'll call me in for something else. And you have that silver lining around everything that really does, after a long time, starts to weigh on you.
Bears on you after a while, and that is the thing. Your agents will tell you, you get a script and you're like, this script stinks, I don't want to do this, I don't want to do this character, and then your agent says, you gotta go. You gotta meet the casting director, they gotta see you, they gotta fall in love with you, they've got other projects they're casting. So then we're in the position of auditioning for things we don't like, that we don't want to be in.
And then sometimes those are the ones you get. And then you're like, I didn't want to do this. And you're like, man, how do I get out of this? Because I don't feel comfortable with the script. I just want, and it's just like, as actors, my experience has been that, we often are, as you said, the lowest on the totem pole until obviously you reach a certain level of, stardom. But I don't think people realize how we don't get acknowledged along the way, right? So no one sees our performances. You go to a class of 10, 15, 20 people. Those are the only people who see your work for years sometimes. And you just don't feel this sense of significance in the industry on the onset of doing it. And it's very debilitating sometimes to the ego, being rejected as often and frequently as we do. And that's just the reality. And we're not trying, we love what we do, but this is just a reality of what it's been like to get to this point where we're, our work is seen, we get paid for it, we show up in a place where everyone's amazing. It took 10 years for me to find that, in this city alone. And it's a rarity. It's rare, it's unique, it's beautiful. And there should be more places like this that could do what we do. And
I like this. When you say more places like this, are you specifically talking about Darman?
I am, yes. Thank you for clarifying, because it's like it, when you said, it checked the box for you where we don't have to audition, we don't have to run around the town, we don't have to do all the things that we have to do for all our other acting attempts. It's the sort of thing where I breathed a sigh of relief. I was like, oh, it's just a weight is lifted off your shoulder. You get to do what you love. not as frequently as we want to, because us actors, we want to do this every day, like we love what we do so much. It's never enough, right? We all want more opportunities to be in front of the camera. Like, we're a weird breed, to be honest. Like, most people shy away from the camera. We're like, where's the camera? Where are the lights? Let's go. We want more. Like, we're weird like that,
Yeah. So since we're on this topic, let's talk about the boxes that have been checked. What are your favorite things about working at Dhar Mann Studios?
Oh my gosh, again, not having to audition, not having to jump through hoops to secure a role, not having to there's still a little bit of a waiting game, but it's like you at a certain point you realize, like, oh, okay, they'll call me when there's something for me, right? Initially there wasn't that, because I didn't know. I don't think any of us really anticipated that this was going to be such an ongoing opportunity, because it's very unique in that way in this city, at least, where it's usually like you book something and you think you might potentially work with that production company again because you did a great job and they're singing you glory, and then like you were like, yeah, they'll call me back, and then you don't hear back from them, so it's like it's not as frequent as it happens at Darman, where
2 to 5 years before they do another film that you have a role that you're right for.
Exactly. So this is like for you all, every weekish, 2 weekish, for me, every month-ish, like, it's amazing. It's like, okay, when it shows up, it's just a lovely feeling. I love not having to chase a check. It's deposited very, very, very swiftly. The quickest I've ever seen, on and off camera work. It's the quickest I've ever been paid. What else? The people, of course, it's amazing, because you're gonna go, like, when you see the call sheet now, it used to be where we didn't have a call sheet. We would just show up and be like, I'm working with you. Oh my gosh. Right. But when you see the names that you're working with, there's never a name where you're like, oh, man, really? Like, there's never that. There's always like, yes, I got to see Roshi, and like, you go down the list and it's like, amazing, I get to see them. And then you show up at the studio and then there's like other productions going on, so like you see other people and you're like, and it's like, I love that. It really, 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 for so many of us that don't have families in this town, it really became that, and the fact that we were able to, be reached out to from the Dhar Mann fam, like all the fans, like it just really has felt like that for me, and that's just a beautiful feeling, and I haven't felt that elsewhere.
I'm currently writing a book about Hollywood right now, Hollywood Snapshots, which I hope will be out by the end of the year. But the scenarios, the sometimes danger that young men and women put themselves in unknowingly, just to try to make their dreams happen.
Yep.
Networking parties, you think you're going to a party and then you're being told this or that, and then you think you're on your way there and you're in a limousine, and these are my personal stories we won't go into, but I have been attacked at auditions and on sets and stuff. So having that safe place to go has been, and I haven't talked about this at all, but what you were sharing made me think that those thoughts, and that you were going in that vein of being a young woman in this town where sometimes there's these unspoken, unwritten expectations. I remember my first 15 years in Hollywood not wearing a wedding ring because I was told you never wear a ring to an audition. And I've been on sets where I've been at auditions where I booked the role, then when they found out I was married, got fired because they thought you were then unattainable. There's other words that are used, but you have to appear as if you're available, as if the directors or producers have a chance with you.
I mean, you're bringing up a whole side of things that I wasn't even expecting, but yes, it's true. Everything you've said is true. I mean, that's why no one knew I had a boyfriend for 5 years. It wasn't until I got engaged that, people were like, wait, you're getting married? You just met him. I was like, no, we've been together 5 years. They're like, we didn't know. Because in this city, in this profession, especially, when we started ish, I want to say, over the years, I don't know right now, because I'm not new to this city and I'm not, a single woman in this city anymore. But on the onset, absolutely. Everything you're saying is 100%, was 100% accurate for me. I gotta be specific to me, but yes, not just me, because I know other women, but I'm just gonna talk about my own experiences because that's all I can speak to. But yes, 100%
right,
accurate. Yes. So, I mean, and that's, as a female, as a woman, but even as like, the sorts of stories we want to tell, right? I never have to worry what the script is gonna say or make me do that is against my values or my beliefs or my wishes and desires. Like so many times, I would show up and they're like, okay, now do this. I'm like, no, I'm sorry. I got in trouble once because they wanted me to do something that was out of the realm of what was on the paper, and it was not going to look favorably on me. And I was like, no, I'm sorry. There's no reason for me to do. And I got fired. They're like, well, we won't be needing you. I'm like, okay, bye. Because if that's what you're going to try to pull with me now, I'm sorry. And I can't tell you how many girls felt better about not being put in that situation on that set specifically and walked off as well. So to your point, those are the things that, can be prevalent. And I never have to worry about on Darman. And it's just, that's a huge, the fact that we're doing things to make the world better and help people. Like, I always dreamed of that being the reason why I got into this, when we started, there was no social media. You couldn't just have your own platform and speak, your truth, your values, your platform. I think I said that twice, but you couldn't just, stand for something unless you had a platform. And acting, to me at that time, was the platform I deemed to be, the only one I could utilize to put forth a good message. There was no social media. So now, you can open a page and open a YouTube channel and open a this and that and do such positive things for the world. Mm-hmm. But acting, that's like, you always heard of the actors who went to charity events and foundations and, philanthropic opportunities were given to the actors, to the celebrities, to, the famous people. So that's what I deemed to be one of the bigger reasons why I wanted to get into acting, was to do something for the world. And to just step into it, with Darman and literally with Darman, you get to do it alongside of someone with other people who feel similarly or the same. And
tell me, so you said Darman Studios is a favorite project, like overall you've worked in. Has there been a role that you've played that's been like really juicy where you were like, ooh, I'd love to play another type of character like this? Yes, tell me that first, and then I have a follow-up.
Well, it's interesting because although I've been in over 50 videos by now, right? It's been amazing. Each of them have been uniquely beautiful because it's what everybody brings to the table on that given day in that given video, right? And it's amazing. However, I tend to play like a certain character, which I love,
Uh-huh.
right? I'm good. They tried me as the meanie. I guess I didn't really like suffice as a meanie.
I
But
would
it was
say
fun.
that maybe meanie roles in the future, it just may not have been one yet.
Maybe. But it was really challenging because I was like, oh my God, I'm being so mean. But
I saw that and I thought you did fantastic as the mean mom. I think you pulled it off perfectly.
Oh, thank you. I think that's just mad respect to you and to all the actors who can pull off the mean and the nice. I think that's where it stems from. Like, it was challenging to be, to play that role. It was amazing. It was fun. However, I would like to play more like powerful roles, right? Like the attorney or like the realtor, like just like roles where like I get to be, I come from a place of power and I can still be compassionate, lawyer. Yeah. But I'm always like been playing like the nanny and the maid and it's like, it's interesting.
You were the rich neighbor with me.
Oh, this is right. Yeah, no, that was fun. That was fun. We had a good time.
That might have been one of your favorite roles. Our neighbor, and you've played that rich lady a couple times.
That was fun. Yeah, that was fun. I do like playing the full spectrum. I think I'm grateful in that I get to play so many different things in the sense of like, even though I am the maid or the housekeeper or whatever, it's like the storyline, right? The lesson is what matters. And I think it's beautiful when I get to deliver like a lesson and I'm like, guys, it's just, that's a really beautiful component of doing these videos, is being able to deliver a lesson in each video.
So you mentioned you liked playing more powerful roles. That was actually going to be the next question I asked you was, is there some kind of a dream role you've always wanted to play, but you've never had the opportunity yet?
Yeah, I've played a lot of professional roles outside of Dhar Mann, right? And that's usually what I used to get booked as. I used to get booked as a detective, and cop roles and all that. And in the Dhar Mann world, I would like to play like the attorney and the like the real like sharpshooter who's like giving it to you how it is. I think it'd be fun. And and I think the evil mom really almost like checked that one off for me because I was in the courtroom, so I feel like I at least got that circumstances out of my system.
You've got something on me because I've never shot in that courtroom.
No, I shot for the first time in the upscale one, like last week or something. And I was like, wow, this is the first time I've been in here. And they're like, well, this is the first time. I'm like, yeah, I've never been. But I was the housekeeper in the rich.
Okay. You're talking about Studio 2.
Studio 2.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I
You guys, I'm sorry. Mommy, there was an accident.
Okay. He said he's sorry. Shut the door, Tiffany. And then, I've done the spectrum: homeless, living in a car, and then like uber rich. And I have not shot on the middle class studio yet. The middle class home in the studio yet. So
which one's that?
Really rich, and really poor. I've not been middle class.
Funny, I'm always lower or middle class. It's interesting how how they see us, right? How they cast us, and they have their their ways, and it's just interesting because I think I've spoken to a lot of us actors who what we book outside of Dhar Mann is not what we book inside of Dhar Mann, which is so fascinating to me, like how different people can see us differently.
Yeah, I talked to someone that was playing exclusively mean roles, and then they had never played anything but nice on other films.
Oh, how funny.
Finally get to play mean roles.
Oh, hysterical.
Jovanna, what is something about you that's really interesting that people might not know about you?
That's really interesting.
Well, people who don't know this about you, it may be surprising to them. It doesn't have to be very interesting, but what's something that the fans would be surprised to learn about you?
I think anybody who doesn't know this about me is surprised to hear that I'm an introvert. That even though I am loud and I talk a lot and I'm like all about like giving you hugs and I'm all about like I'm very introverted. And it's really interesting because most people who learn that about me are like, what? How can that be possible? Because they hear me not shut up. And and it's just, I behave like an introvert. I love, quiet time and me time and retrospection and reading. And so I think people are surprised about that. I don't know if it's interesting, but it is surprising.
Surprising because people wouldn't think that about you, but you need to be away from people to refuel and recharge. Yes. And I'm the same way. I'm definitely the same. I love quiet and peace. And as a parent, I have to go away to a hotel to get some peace and quiet. It's not. There's a sibling rivalry going on right now. Okay. Jovanna, what do you wish I would have asked you that I didn't ask you?
I wish you covered so many different aspects, and I feel like I was able to talk about like the arc of like, how I got to LA and some of the nitty gritty stuff that, happened on our path. And I don't think that is often, shared, right? And thankfully I come from a place where I was mature enough, old enough, aware enough, experienced enough where it didn't bring me down, right? I was able to use those experiences and still find my power in them, and I didn't let them disempower me. So I think if you were to ask me another question, I think I would love to kind of just put a bow on that and to make sure that if you're ever in a situation that you are made to feel less than or someone wanting to disempower you, it's like own your power, own your voice, own the right to feel the way you feel and to speak it out. And if that means that you lose X, whatever that is, opportunity, then so be it, as long as you uphold what is true and right for you. So that is something I think I would want to just, make sure is clear.
Wonderful. And Jovanna, do you have any kind of like philosophy you live by? What do you live your life by? What is it that you aim to uphold in your life and to put out in the world? How is it that you live?
I live with a desire for everyone to get along. I live with a desire for a more meaningful experience in the world. I live with the intention that we can all make each other stronger and better, and that is the world I want to live in, and that is the world I want our next generations to inherit. And I want to really march on that, right? Like I really want us as a collective to just feel the
Sorry, call came through.
Oh, okay. I just want us all as a collective to really strive for what is possible for all of us. And that's how I live, knowing that everything's available to us. We just have to go and I used to say make it happen. And I'm conflicted about that now because I want to allow it to happen. And there's a big distinction. I don't want to force anything. I want everything to just flow and for there to be ease around everything. So that's what I want everyone to just have that ease and that peace around things, that things are happening for our better, greater, grander good, and that we don't need to push so hard, that what's ours is ours and it's there for the taking, and we just have to go search for it and find it and grab it.
Beautiful. And if there was any last message you wanted to give to the fans, what would it be?
I'm so proud of you. I'm so proud of you. I'm so proud of you fans who believe that as well, who believe that there can be more good in the world, and who in your own little ways are doing that for yourself and your environment and those you live with and around, and that you know there's a better way. And I'm proud that you have a way to get to that you are in search for a better experience. And I know you know that because you watch us, right? And because you watch us, I believe that you know, you're on such an incredible path, and you're so much further along than any of us were at your age. And I'm just proud of you. I'm proud that you found something that you can hold on to and that you can move forward with. So keep going, my younglings, keep going. You got this.
Beautiful. Thank you for taking the time to speak with me today.
Oh, thank you, Katherine. It's always so fun, so amazing. Never enough time. We could talk for a long time, and it's never enough time. So thank you for that. Thank you for opening your space, your heart, and your channel for these conversations. Thank you.
Thank you so much. We'll catch you later.
Bye for now. Take care. Bye.